Alright, so due to popular request, I will go ahead and go over some notes about function notation, which is something you've already covered, but apparently I need to re-review before you take your next test. So, here we have an equation, y equals 3x plus 5. We can change the y to f of x, saying that that's a function of x, equal to 3x plus 5. So basically we're replacing the y with f of x. Now what that allows us to do is that if I do something like this and say f of 2, now I know the 2 is going in place of the x, so I would put the 2 in that x and say 3 times 2 plus 5, well, what's the answer? And I would get 11. So that means that when my x was 2, my answer was 11. And there's that ordered pair of 2, 11. Okay, here's another example. G of x is equal to 2x squared plus 1. And let's see what happens when I say I want to find g of 3. So what I'm going to do here is you notice that I've put this as a parentheses. I am saying this 3, which is now in this x, is going to go into that x right here. So that would say I need to put a 3 there, and then say what's 3 squared? 9 plus times 2, 18 plus 1 is 19. So you can see how some of these work, and hopefully, again, all you're doing is substituting in. Now, be careful if you had something like with a negative. If you're doing this with a calculator, or if you're even doing this by hand, you have to realize that with a negative, that square, anytime you square a negative, it will become a positive. So keep that in mind. So negative 4 squared is 16 times 2 is 32 plus 1 is 33. And so you can see that's all I've done. Now you can type these into the calculator and that would be more than okay. Be careful when you have something like this where you have negative j of some x. Now this is from the worksheet. J of x was equal to 2x. So I'm saying here that I'm going to put the 4 in place of the x and say 2 times 4, 2 times x. But the negative is going to be on the outside. It's going to be what I do at the end. So I do everything else. 2 times 4 is 8. I have no idea why I did that. Okay, yeah. 2 times 4 is 8. Then think about the negative and change that sign. Whatever the answer was, change the sign. That's what that negative means in the front. Okay, so those are some things that you have to worry about. It's not really, like I said, it's not really that difficult. You're just putting the number that's in the parentheses into the x of the function, all of them, if there's more than one or anything like that. Okay, thought I had paused this, but apparently I hadn't, so there may have been some blanks sound there for a while, but oops, sorry about that. Okay, again, if you look at your worksheet from the other day, I'm looking at f of j, and it said f of x was 3x plus 5. So I wrote 3 and then left a blank plus 5. Now we're looking at what is called a composite function, where we're putting one function inside the other. The j is inside the parentheses. J was equal to 2x. So I'm going to put that in place of the x for f of x. I'm going to put that in place of that x. So I would have something like that. Then I can go ahead and simplify that. And yeah, that's getting a little crazy because I'm writing on top of some stuff. But there you go, f of x is equal to 6x. I said 3 times 2 is 6x. And don't worry about any of that. We're going to pause that and skip that part. Okay, let me do one more example, and then if you have any other questions about this, I would suggest you come to tutoring and ask. But here we have fg of x. Now again, notice that the f is the one on the outside. So I am going to say rewrite that f of x as 3x plus 5, but instead of putting the x, I'm going to put a blank, parentheses. And then I'm going to put the g that's inside the parentheses, what it's equal to, into the parentheses of the other function. Then all I got to do is distribute, combine like terms if necessary, and you're done. And that is what you do when you do a composite functions. That's pretty much it for function notation. It's a very short thing that can be handled, and it will appear on the next test, so just keep that in mind and be prepared. Thank you very much.